because you know what's coming this Sunday? HASC 30th, a time for celebration, ladies and gentlemen. It'll take place at David Geffen Hall in Lincoln Center, and with us via telephone is the show's producer, the one and only Eli Gerstner.
Hey, Yossi, how you doing, man?
Baruch Hashem. I gotta tell you, Eli, over the last few years, you've produced some amazing shows at some amazing venues, not just in New York, but across the globe. I gotta wonder, and I thought about this last year, what was Eli Gerstner doing, and what was his response when the guys at HASC first reached out to you last year and said, Eli, we want you to produce the show?
Well, honestly, I gotta, pinch myself. But I've been doing that a lot lately, so I have a lot of marks. All over. It's surreal. It's absolutely surreal, and it's something like me and you. We're the same age, and we just grew up listening to this stuff and living the whole. The years of 30 years. We're in our 30s. Where we grew up listening to every single thing that Time for Music put out. It made performers. It titled the King of Jewish Music, MBD. It titled him. That's how we know these things. That's how we do everything throughout Jewish music history. It really is. When it says, be a part of history, it's like that when they ask me for a good tagline, and I use this line on YBC Live in the past, but over here I felt like, wow, I really didn't use it right on YBC Live. This is really history. This is history. This is what it is. 30 years. Man,
I just realized you said we grew up with this. We probably had the video cassettes for the first videos of the shows back then.
I remember. I told Shia. I remember HASC 2. I mean, I'm not sure if HASC 1 came out right away. I think HASC 1 came out many years later. But HASC 2, which had every single performer basically alive on that show. Of course, MBD and Shlomo Kalbach and Dvekis. And it was just and everybody that I knew as a Jewish music singer, I think besides Avram Fried, who was on the year before. Besides Avram Fried, at that moment in time, it had everybody. Everybody just came out. I think Joe Amar came out. Everybody came out one by one, singing songs and huge orchestra. And it was just so big. It was just so bigger than life, bigger than what we've ever done. I was going to maybe Miami Boys Choir concerts as a kid, and there was a nice little, nice band on stage, Brooklyn College, and all of a sudden I'm seeing this video, and I was like, whoa, how did this happen? Amazing. Big orchestra, Yisrael Lamb, Mendes, everybody became just larger than life to me as a kid. Being a part of this is really a crazy thing.
Amazing. Eli Gerstner joining us live by telephone, talking about HASC 30, we're calling it a time for celebration here. Be a part of history. David Geffen Hall. Eli, do you remember the first concert you attended in person? Which concert it was or not?
I don't know. We couldn't afford that. Go to a Time for Music show. I think I went to HASC 10. I was at the Metropolitan Opera House. That I remember for sure. I was at the Metropolitan Opera House, and I think it was Mordechai and David and Betty. And I don't even know how we got the ticket. I don't even remember. Maybe somebody. I don't know. Someone must have bought it for us or something. I was a kid. 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was a teenager, and we got tickets, and I remember just sitting there, my eyes just whoa, this is crazy.
I believe my first time was at the Metropolitan Opera House. Shia produced the show. It was 14 or 16. It was right after I got married, and my in-laws used to go every year. I think my father was on the board of HASC, and my wife was telling me, am I getting ready? I said, what do you mean getting ready? She's like, what do you mean? You got to come in a suit and tie. I said, suit and tie? This is a concert. I have to put on a suit and tie. No, this is HASC. It's the Metropolitan Opera House. You got to, there was such a chashivas to the show. And after, seeing 14 years and listening to the tapes and watching the video cassettes, to actually be there, like you said, it's so much larger than life.
Yeah. So again, that's the pressure. Mm-hmm. That's the pressure. We were in discussions about me producing the show for many years, and I just never felt I was up for the task. I really didn't. And I kept every year. I just felt like this is just so big. Only giants like Shia Mendelowitz and Suki and Dink Productions, these are giants that I grew up listening to and grew up, it just happened to fall out the last year or whatever it was, where they paved the way that I was able to take it, and I was just like, you know what? I'm like, let's do this. Let's die at first,
I gotta tell you.
Let's see what happens.
Amazing.
It's been crazy. Baruch Hashem.
I got a comment here from Heath Roman in Chicago. He says, tell Eli I really appreciated the HASC concert in Chicago last year. It was my first time live at a HASC concert. Is this year's show going to to be on the road as well.
Yes, and it's Hashem. But we didn't title it a tour because we're not necessarily. Last year we took our headliner, which was Yaakov Shweki, and we took him on the road. And we only did, let's say, 3 or 4 major cities, and then everything else was private events, which was a big shame. But it was a really, really expensive show that we brought on the road. Now this year we're opening it up. We have many cities lined up, Baruch Hashem, with different performers. And yes, Chicago, we are coming back. This is an exclusive here at Yossi Zweig.
I didn't even know this.
We are coming back. We're coming back to Chicago this year.
Amazing.
It's on the date book. I don't know if I could say the date yet, but it's there. We're doing it.
I didn't see the word tour. I assumed it was going to be a stationary show like previous years, but for fans who live out of the tri-state area, this is major news. Definitely major news. So I remember you posted a few weeks ago, half sold out. Eli Gerstner's half selling out HASC with not mentioning any names in Jewish music, and then you guys put out this ad. I don't know who I have to credit with the ad. Is it the concept or is it the design? But the ad having all the artists that have performed in the last 30 years. It was just an amazing accomplishment to see everybody that's ever performed. I mean, we're talking about the London School of Jewish Song. We're talking about Miami Boys Choir. We're talking about Yeshiva Boys Choir. We're talking about Mordechai Ben David. We're talking about Yoel Sharabi. It was just to actually see all the names there. Label Heschel, Ruby Harris, Yossi Green, Yerli Dickman, Chaim. It's staggering in some way.
Well, there were a few years that Shia Mendelowitz produced the show where he did not put the names on it. This was his original idea, and it was just because he felt, and I guess Camp HASC at that time felt, that this is all about the kids. This is all about these special campers. This is all about the beautiful Camp HASC, and that people are coming to support it. And yes, they are getting an amazing night. But trust me, for the amount of money that you're spending, yes, you are getting an amazing, amazing show. But you're all doing this because you want to support Camp HASC. That's the main reason. You all feel good. You're helping this amazing, amazing camp, and you're also getting this added bonus of this unbelievable show. So that being said, they said they wanted to start advertising it as such. So that was like Shia for like a few years, up to I think maybe HASC 8 or 9. Right. And then when Suki and Ding Productions took over for a few years, they brought it back to putting names on it again. And then Shia Mendelowitz came back again, and then again didn't put any names on it, just like build it as like United as One.
Right, I remember that.
Kai, and again, no names, nothing. And then when Dink took it over again, he again started putting names on it. It's just a different mahalach, of how to do the show. So me personally, just not having guts, I want to put names on. If I have an amazing lineup,
you want the world to know about it, right?
I want the world to know about it. When the board mentioned, maybe we should, go back to the days of, no names. I'm like, you do that when you have like, a one-man band and like a couple of singers that nobody knows, and you have to say, okay, it's a big secret who's on the show. People will go and buy. But when you have a lineup like this lineup, which of course I can't tell you, but this lineup, and by the way, there's no reason for me to promote it. Baruch Hashem, as far as I'm concerned, they're sold out. I think online there's like a few seats left in the VIP 750 section and a couple of seats in the 500 section. It's definitely under about 60 seats left in the theater. So if you're listening to this live and you can afford some nice tickets and you want to give away some nice tzedakah money and see a beautiful show, go online right now, because within 24 hours, 36 hours max, those seats will be gone. But that being said, I'm not trying to promote the show anymore at this point. It's all done. It's all sold. If you have tickets, you can see it. But I'm telling you now, you have a lineup. We have a lineup. You promote it and you mention every single name and you promote it like crazy. And that's what I was thinking and I was feeling. And Board said, no, you'll see people, they want to support Camp HASC. It's about the campers. It's about the kids. And we said, okay, let's do it. And then they put me to the task of putting out an ad that will excite people. And I said, are you kidding me? How am I supposed to I don't understand this. How can I excite people by saying year 30? It doesn't make any sense. Ellie, you'll work it out. And I just thought of myself as, and I am, just a Jewish music lover, like yourself, right?
Right.
What do we want to see? What would we want to see on a thing? And again, be truthful to the audience, to the thousands upon thousands of people that look at the ad. And the answer was, we grew up listening to Time for Music and knowing the Time for Music, and we know that the 30th year celebration is going to be this amazing show. So how do I just like wink to everybody else that like me that's just looking at an ad that knows it's going to be an amazing show without saying it's an amazing show? And that is just putting out this timeline. So the concept was mine, but KZ Creative. Really laid it out unbelievable. Combination of the Camp HASC designer Yonatan Sklar. These guys together, they really amazing team, and they put together this masterpiece of an ad. We did a lot of research. We messed up a lot of the years because we couldn't find any of the
information. Really?
A lot of the years were
Somebody
just not in
should have gone
existence.
to Shia's house. He for sure had all the playbills.
We went. Shia was able to tell us all of Shia's years. Ding could say some of the Ding years, but there were some years in between, and there were some years that just weren't advertised, and some people were confused about certain things. It's a crazy thing. But anyway, every ad that we put out, we updated it as we got phone calls and emails. Someone just emailed me just now, yesterday, emailed Camp HASC. Camp HASC sent me a thing. You didn't include Shlomo Simcha. I'm like, what are you talking about? Shlomo Simcha is the most amazing, great guy. How's that possible? I went online. I went on this site. I'm like, oh my gosh. I didn't put Shlomo Simcha in the ad. I cannot believe it. And I'm like thinking to myself, why? How could that even happen? And I realized that one of the years that I totally messed up in one of the original ads, I put in the top part. I only include 3 people, let's say, in the top timeline.
Right, because you can't fit everybody.
Everybody else that's not up there, I put into the bottom. And one of those years that I just messed up on had Shlomo Simcha on there. And then when I fixed it, I just didn't put Shlomo Simcha onto the bottom,
right,
which I should have. I totally forgot. And I'm like, and I know that I'm sure Shlomo Simcha listens to you every single Wednesday. I'm sure. I'm positive.
Yeah.
In Toronto. So we forgot him, and of course no one forgets him. The guy is a monster, unbelievable musician and singer. But in any case,
they'll make it up to you about HASC 31. They'll put in the 31st ad.
How do you know he's not in HASC 30? Oh, actually,
maybe
he's not in HASC 30. Everybody, he's not. I'll tell you, everybody up front. This guy is doing this monster show in L.A. Philharmonic.
Oh, you heard about that, right?
Concert.
Yeah.
So for those that live in LA listening to you, go to that show. It's supposed to be an amazing show. So.
Listener Avraham in St. Louis says he wants to know if the tour is coming to St. Louis.
I want to tell you something, St. Louis. This year, we can make these things work. There are smaller cities that are calling us up that can't necessarily afford this huge HASC show, and we have now these options to make a little bit of a smaller show to make it work so people can sort of get the Camp HASC experience, this time for music experience. So listen, St. Louis, just call Camp HASC office, and we'll try to make something work.
That's amazing, Eli Gerstner via telephone. I did read Ari Hirsch of The Views put an article online saying that Shia Mendowitz is going to be honored at this year's HASC, and that it was your idea. So obviously a no-brainer. Shia Mendowitz has produced 15 shows, but Eli, why this year? Like, what? Where did this idea for 30 and Shia come from?
Well, first of all, Shia is a giant. Okay, a total giant in production and as a producer. And if Shia would be producing the show, he would have asked someone like Shia to be honored. So. I stepped into Shia Mendowitz's shoes, and I do that all the time. I tell Shia this all the time, and I'm very close to him. We live a few blocks away from each other. I have tremendous respect for him and what he laid out for all of us. As a producer, I try to follow in his footsteps, and those are huge footsteps. And and then even as a person, he has just these huge footsteps that I have to try to follow and try to look up to. He's really an amazing person, and it just clicked. It really just clicked. He did not want to be honored. He was like, Eli, this is not for me. This is not for me. I never put my face out there. And he doesn't. He was always like behind the scenes, but everybody knew the name.
Right, yeah.
And I said, Shia, you don't understand. You laid the groundwork. This is from year 1. We're at year 30. This is an amazing accomplishment. How many years of Camp HASC, saving these kids, saving the camp. People don't realize at the end of the day what kind of tzedakah this is. This is a tremendous tzedakah. Yes, they put on this crazy multi-million-dollar show, which they do for this charitable situation where they try to get people to give more money. Don't get me wrong. The camp is always at risk of shutting down. And they keep losing the government funding. They're really at need of money, which is why they started the show to begin with. And now they're continuing doing so because they need this. They really need the money badly. It's like it's still a tzedakah. People think of it as like this, like Costco. When in reality, it's still a mom and pop shop that's really trying to try to pay the bills.
Right.
So again, that's everybody going out there. You're really just helping these malachim of staff, of campers, of administration. These are all just malachim of people, and it's just so important. So anyway, Shia is an amazing person that I felt like it just made perfect sense. Year 30, year 1 was him. Year 30 should be celebrated by him. And we needed to honor him, and we're so happy to have him there.
I agree you, and I applaud you. I actually want to add 2 things. First off, Eli, you'll test to this. Back in the day, it was asked to many or abanim, and we were told we can use Meiser money for the HASC concert. You do remember those days, Eli, right?
I totally do. I totally do.
Okay, so first of all, you can use Meiser money. Second of all, I know some of you are thinking multi-million-dollar production. The HASC show is paid for by donors that are not donating to the cause, but donors that are donating to the show to rent funds. So the money you're giving is not being used or allocated towards the show. And I was at Camp HASC this summer. I broadcasted from there 3 times live on Facebook. This was my first time at Camp HASC. Believe it, Ellie. This was my first time at Camp HASC at 36 years of age. But I can say sitting down with Uri Butler and the rest of the staff and Sklar and Shmuel Modes and everybody there, it is amazing what they do. I was there on the HASC Experience Day. I was there on Visiting Day. The faces, and we interviewed some of the parents. And Ellie, I heard stories from the parents' own mouth about what Camp HASC means and how you really don't know, but the kids wait an entire year for these few weeks to be there. And the fact that this show can fund so much of that is just amazing, and it's a big part of something to be part of.
Yeah, definitely, and really, if anybody wants, I think they have one day where I don't know if it's not Visiting Day, but there's a certain day where people can come and check out Camp HASC.
Right, it's called HASC Experience Day. Yeah.
The HASC Experience Day, and people don't realize. I'm telling you now, what a day! What a day! If you want to just see something and really be in awe, first of all, of Mikam Yisrael, and really see what Klal Yisrael is all about in the best of ways, and just see what's going on over there. And it's really something that I push everybody to. You're upstate anyway. Go check it out. You will not regret it. You will walk into that camp. You will walk out a different person.
Definitely,
it's just an amazing thing. I haven't missed a summer yet. I've been there since I was 18 years old. I performed there since my first album came out. Every summer, I cannot miss it. It's one of the things I look forward to the whole year. There's something about the energy over there, and about the staff and the way they work with the campers and the way they with the campers and the campers. Just everything about it. The ruach and what they do over there is amazing, and it's something I look forward to every summer. I'm so happy again to try to raise money for this beautiful camp. It's just the desperate needs.
Right. The website for tickets, HASCconcert.com. If you want to make a donation, I probably suggest you go to HASC.org, which is their organization. You can see more about what they do, see more about the day-to-day. Ellie, now that we got the nitty-gritty out of the way, what can you tell me about this show? I'm sure you're not going to tell me about the big performers, but a band or a choir or a performance or a dedication, anything you can tell us about at this point?
Let's go. You ready? Bum, 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 bum. I'll be there.
Nachum Siegel will be there, right?
Many people will be there. It'll be actually this show. This show we are having. Okay, so I will let it out. I will let it out of the bag.
Okay, let's hear it.
This year, the show's MC, celebrating the 30th year, will actually be Zale Newman.
Wow, that's pretty big news. I should let you know. 5 minutes before we brought you on the air, I played the finale from HASC 1, where Zale announced, and it was Fried Motchen Sharabi. It was an amazing feeling. We had listeners in Russia before that were saying that they remembered this album, or they remembered that production, and it's a shame that you don't have that anymore.
We needed to bring Zale. When you hear that, Nachum is amazing, and brought so much to the show.
Correct.
When you hear Zale say, "The king of Jewish music," you hear that voice.
Yeah.
It's just, it just shakes you to the core. We called him, we begged him to listen. You have that voice, you have that thing. I know you live in Toronto. You got to come in for the 30th celebration. And he was tzaddik of a person. He said, "Of course, no problem."
He said, "I heard it's going to be 50 degrees in New York, and we have 2 feet of snow. I'm coming."
Okay, exactly. That's Florida weather.
Yeah.
So he came from Toronto, and we're just looking forward. We're looking forward to that. So yes, okay, there you go. You got an exclusive.
That's
right
amazing.
There.
And guess what? I'll be there. And I promise everybody following me on social media, I will let every cat out of the bag. As soon as Zale announces it, it'll be live on social media.
Well, there's going to be a lot of that going on, yes. So get those fingers ready. And make sure you have good Wi-Fi.
I definitely will. Ellie, first of all, I want to thank you. I want to wish you much hatzlacha. Before I let you go, listener Gedalia in Australia sent one question about Eli Gerstner, not about HASC, that I had to ask you. He wants to know when Eli Gerstner is releasing some new music. He says there has not been a new YBC since 2014. He said there's no chevra, no menucha in the last few years. He's like, they're distant memory. Is Eli strictly producing other people's projects, or is he going to put something out because the fans want to know?
Let me tell you something. Every time I walk into the studio and I look at the projects that are just unfinished, like the new YBC, the new Chavra, the new Eli Gerstner solo album, finishing up the YBC Greatest Hit DVD. There's just so many things, and then there are many new projects I can't even mention that have been started. It's just sitting there, and I love it, and I love those projects, and I want to put them out. I want people to hear them, and Baruch Hashem, I keep writing. I'm writing songs still, at least one a week, just pushing them out, and it's a part of me. It happens to be at this moment of my life, just all these productions and these shows. Baruch Hashem, it takes up so much time, and I am doing a lot of productions, but I'm absolutely not removing that from my life. It's something that I'm doing. I'm just doing it a little bit slower, nitpicking at it and getting things out. And I'm really hoping that within the next month or two, we're actually going to have a new single with a new project from YBC is coming out. That's very soon. But at the same time, we're also releasing a HASC project and a lot of stuff happening from now to Pesach. So yeah, let me get Sunday out of the way. And
Eli,
and then we're into Rachel's. Then we do Rachel's Place for a month.
I was going to say, between Zussman and Rachel's Place and HASC, I'm surprised Eli can do anything during the year.
Baruch Hashem. That's why we sit there at rehearsals, and I'm sitting there with the computer trying to mix the music. It's all good. It's all good. That's what we do.
Hatzlacha Rabba. I will hopefully see you at some point on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. HASC, A Time for Music 30, January 15th. This Sunday, Lincoln Center, David Geffen Hall. Be a part of history. For more details and tickets, HASCconcert.com, 888-844-TOUR. Oh, they are using the tour number. I guess it was right there, and I didn't even see it, Eli.
There you go.
Eli, Hatzlacha Rabba. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
All right, Kota.